Want to speak real Romanian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at RomanianPod101.com.
In this lesson, we're going to learn how to apologize or say "excuse me" in Romanian. The basic phrase for "excuse me" is "mă scuzați." Mă scuzați. We can also use it when asking a question. Mă scuzați, unde este baia? Meaning, excuse me, where is the restroom? Mă scuzați, unde este baia? Another way to say excuse me is pardon. Pardon. Just like mă scuzați, we can use pardon when asking a question or when apologizing. Both of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is îmi pare rău. It means I'm sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Îmi pare rău. Unlike the others, îmi pare rău only has the meaning of I'm sorry and not excuse me. Now it's time for a look at insights. Please remember that if we accidentally bump into someone on the street, we don't usually say I'm sorry, îmi pare rău. Instead, we say mă scuzați or pardon, excuse me. We're going to learn how to go shopping in Romania. The first thing you need to know how to say is how much is it? Cât costă aceasta? Cât costă aceasta? Imagine you see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs. The first thing to say is mă scuzați or pardon. Do you remember what this means? Excuse me, then simply add cât costă aceasta, meaning how much is it? Mă scuzați, cât costă aceasta? Excuse me, how much is it? Mă scuzați, cât costă aceasta? Or, pardon, cât costă aceasta? Pardon, cât costă aceasta? If you want to be more specific when you're asking how much something is, you just need to add it at the end of the sentence. However, you need to change aceasta to acest if it is a masculine noun or to această if it is a feminine. Let's see some examples. Homemade sausage, cârnat de casă, is one of the Romanian traditional dishes. Sausage is a masculine noun, so if you want to buy one, you'll say, mă scuzați, cât costă acest cârnat de casă? This means, excuse me, how much is this homemade sausage? Mă scuzați, cât costă acest cârnat de casă? Now, if you want to buy a shirt or cămașă in Romanian, which is a feminine noun, you would say, mă scuzați, cât costă această cămașă? Excuse me, how much is this shirt? Mă scuzați, cât costă această cămașă? By the way, for more information on masculine and feminine nouns in Romanian, check out Lesson 3 of the All About series on RomanianPod101.com. At this point, the shop clerk might confirm by saying acest cârnat de casă, meaning this homemade sausage, această cămașă, meaning this shirt, or just acesta, meaning this. When telling you the price, they will say acest cârnat de casă, 39 de lei, meaning this homemade sausage, 39 lei, or această cămașă, 39 de lei, meaning this shirt, 39 lei. Now it's time for a look at insights. A faster way to ask about the price of something is cât e, which is a different way of asking how much. For example, if you're in a hurry for a coffee, you can ask the cashier, o cafea vă rog, cât e, meaning a coffee please, how much. This is a shorter, more informal way to ask for the price.
Do you know how to say I love you in Romanian? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
Te iubesc. Te iubesc. Te iubesc.
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say,
Am făcut o pasiune pentru tine. Am făcut o pasiune pentru tine. Am făcut o pasiune pentru tine.
and when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say,
Cuvintele nu pot descrie dragostea mea pentru tine. Cuvintele nu pot descrie dragostea mea pentru tine. Cuvintele nu pot descrie dragostea mea pentru tine.
You just learned 3 different ways to say, I love you in Romanian.
Do you know how to say thank you in Romanian? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with the easiest one.
Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc.
Another way to say thank you is
Mulțumesc foarte mult. Mulțumesc foarte mult.
Finally, here's a third way to express your gratitude.
Mulțumesc frumos. Mulțumesc frumos.
Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc foarte mult. Mulțumesc foarte mult. Mulțumesc frumos. Mulțumesc frumos.
Well done! You just learned 3 different ways to say thank you in Romanian.
Bună, mă numesc Masanobu.
Bună, eu sunt Andreea. Bine ai venit în România!
Mulțumesc. Sunt încântat să te cunosc în sfârșit.
Și eu sunt încântată de cunoștință. Să mergem să vedem orașul.
Cu drag.
Want to speak real Romanian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at RomanianPod101.com.
In this lesson, you're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you're in a situation where you need help in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. Here's the formal way to say it. Vorbiți engleza, vorbiți, engleza. Again, this means, do you speak English? The word vorbiți is a form of the verb a vorbi, which means to speak. A vorbi is known as an e-verb because it ends in e. Most e-verbs conjugate in a similar way. We will show you how to properly conjugate e-verbs like a vorbi in future series at RomanianPod101.com. Now, let's make this sentence informal. This is done by adding ești to the end of a vorbi after you cut the last vowel e. When we do that, we get vorbești. Altogether, vorbește engleza, vorbești, engleza. This is the informal way to ask, do you speak English? The responses you receive could be one of these 3. Da, vorbesc engleza, meaning yes, I speak English. Da, vorbesc engleza, za. Da, vorbesc puțin, meaning yes, I speak a little. Da, vorbesc puțin. Nu vorbesc engleza, meaning no, I don't speak English. Nu vorbesc engleza. In all of this, vorbesc means I speak. In the last one, we have nu vorbesc, which is the negative form. It means I don't speak. Now it's time for a look at insights. If you want to ask about a different language, just change the word engleza. Here are some language names to get you started. Italiana for Italian, Rusa for Russian, Francesa for French, Germana for German.
If you want to learn a language but don't have a lot of time to dedicate to the endeavor, you need to study as efficiently as possible. You probably aren't a language learning expert or a world traveler. You might have school or a job or two. So in this video, we'll give you 3 ways to help you learn language more efficiently so that you get the most out of your time and effort. Number 1, use your time when you have it. The most valuable resource you have as a language learner is time. While you may not have to spend money to learn a language, you will have to spend time. Hours and minutes are a currency that you trade on a weekly basis to grow in your language learning. Language learning is probably a priority for you. It might not be the number 1 priority, like keeping your job or taking care of your family, but it does have to be important enough for you to invest significant amounts of time into your learning. There's just no way around it. That being said, use your time wisely. Because of previous commitments, you can quickly fall into the trap of putting your language learning off, thinking, oh, I'll do it next week, or Saturday, I'll do it Saturday. Needless to say, a few weeks can go by and you haven't really learned or practiced anything. If you find that happening, then take some time and reevaluate your approach. It's probably a long shot for you to be able to spend hours every day learning a new foreign language, but you can use your time to spend an hour or even just 10 minutes a day, every day, studying or practicing. If you're on a busy schedule, an hour a day can sound like reaching for the stars, so start slowly with just a 5-minute lesson. Over time, as you learn more and it becomes more routine, you'll want to spend more time studying. And your studying doesn't even need to be all at once. Make use of the little gaps of time you have in the day. Listen to a podcast while driving to and from work. Review new words while on lunch break or right before bed. Even a quick review while in line at the store or waiting for the bus. Together, these moments add up. This way, your little study session will add up to around 60 minutes of practice every day. You'll quickly be able to see significant improvement in your language abilities. Number 2, don't method jump. When you're new to language learning, there's a temptation to try out the newest course, app, or method. There are more language learning tools and courses than I can list. But jumping around from podcast to podcast or from textbook to textbook can really hinder your learning process. It's important to find the best method for you, but when you do, stick with it. Don't get distracted by the newest app, or if you suddenly find something faster, cheaper, claiming it can teach you a language with no work on your part. Stick with your learning course or tool. Consistent practice over a period of time is what is essential for language learning. If you hit a bump or plateau, you might be tempted to think, maybe there's a faster or better way to learn. So you search around and buy the next best language learning tool, only to use it for a couple weeks and realize it wasn't really any better than the last course you tried, and the same difficulties you had are still there. If you're learning your first new language and you pick a specific method or course, we suggest you stick with it for at least 3 to 4 months. You actually hurt yourself in the long run if you constantly switch between resources because you never give yourself the opportunity to progress. Number 3, focus on one thing at a time. When you decide to learn a new language, you're going to be really excited. You have all your resources lined up, a plan in place, and you're ready to go. You think you'll spend 3 to 4 hours a day practicing and that you'll be fluent in no time, but that's only for about 3 days. Then you probably will get a little bit discouraged and avoid it for another 3 days. And this process might repeat 3 or 4 times before you realize that you might be approaching things the wrong way. You can't devour a whole new language in a very short time. You'll burn out immediately. It's better to focus on one small part of the language at a time, either a specific grammar point or a specific vocabulary topic. In the beginning, these should be based on the parts of the language you'll use right away. Even in the business world, research shows that replacing less important tasks with ones that add value and help you reach your goals is the best way to get the most out of your time. As you advance through the language and your level increases, try to pinpoint the harder aspects of the language and work on them one at a time. Learning a foreign language isn't easy. It takes time and work, but it is possible. If you stick to your learning plans and stay focused, you will see improvement in your skills and find satisfaction in using the language. Remember that learning a language is really more like a journey. It doesn't have to feel like school or work. Savor your experience with learning and enjoy every step along the way. And for even more tips on learning efficiently, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.